did it. Girl, you really showed me. Think with your heart, don't think with your body. Clever. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not Justin Timberlake, write me a river. Lately, I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else choose you instead. I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. You tried to convince me it was all in my head, and I felt like it's not you, it's me instead. I wanted to rock with you, roll with you. Said you was my baby girl, then you left me too. Everything was kosher, perfect like a poster. Then I got word that you wanna leave a picture off with somebody else, off with the jerk. With the shame on me, I really thought that it could work.
the rights to Bill Yahsonn, as you know. So let me stop and welcome you. What's going on with you before getting to the topic? And so you make your welcome greetings and stuff like that. Carl, we're gonna go full speed until we get into the doctor coming and stuff like that. So if the doctor coming by the time you're done, then we just go into the doctor and then we go back to regular programming and stuff like that. So yes, we're going on with you.
Yeah, man, global greetings, everybody. I must apologize first for being late. I've been a little bit tardy, but I'm here and I'm ready to get into the show. Global greetings, Wally. Global greetings, La Amiga, entire Eastern Caribbean, wherever you are on the globe. It's a pleasure to have you locked in here with us on another edition of The Topics on Real Entertainment Network, and we're encouraging folks to log on to the YouTube platform. That's where we're going to be more in more recent times. So please subscribe, like, and share. Look for Real Entertainment Network on the YouTube platform as we move forward. I see that our guest has also joined us, and so I'm looking forward to the discussion and meeting the guests virtually because I don't think we have met physically, and so I look forward to the discussion and the various topics that we're going to entertain our listeners with and inform them and educate them as well, as this is what we do on this platform, Real Entertainment Network. So, Bankie, let's continue with getting into the topics and introduce our guests to the listening public.
Yes, good evening to you and welcome to the Topics. I greatly appreciate you taking the opportunity to be our guest where we can share some information to the general public. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
All right, nice seeing you, man. Yahsonn, you ain't gonna know Mark, but we are cousin. You know what I mean? We just met in a mystical kind of way. Where I mean, his wife is my old friend. You know, Mary Herbert. We all go to school together. You know what I mean? Very close person and stuff like that with James and Donovan. So it's just like a small community. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So it was welcoming when I met Mark and realized who he is, and then we didn't even know we were family and very close family too. So. And at the same time, we are almost on this meditation and stuff like a very conscious guy, and still he's a doctor, not just a doctor, but a specialist, a surgeon. So, at the same time, still very much into farming and agriculture, and have a very open mind when it comes to the cannabis and how we can treat people, and also have very technical when it comes to cancer and all this different stuff. So, we're gonna see how much stuff we can take. I mean, within the time where we're having so. Little is much, and we appreciate that. So, Mark, let the listening audience know who you are in a couple of seconds, and we get into it and stuff like that.
So I am Mark Grant. I'm actually a native St. Kitts Nevis. Grew up here, lived here most of my life until I moved off to study. I did medical school in Jamaica, after which I spent some time in the Bahamas and then did my specialty training in New York, did my subspecialty training in New Jersey, and have been in Maine for the greater part of about 15 years. In the last 2.5 years, my friend and I have something, and the last part of our travel is spending some time here in St. Kitts. So that's roughly who I am. My line of work, I do my specialty training is in general surgery, trauma, critical care. And to segue into the discussion, I do meet many patients because
Internet pausing. So you have some internet connection there, Mark?
and hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you have some internet problem going in and out sometimes. You're frozen a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. So yes, so in the course of my practice, I have a number of patients with medical issues and have definitely seen the value of marijuana-related products. So I'm on that schedule for tonight.
Yes. But Mark, I realize being around you, you're one of those doctors who are very health conscious and very particular in juicing and using local products. And you even yourself, in Maine, you have your own garden, and you don't really find much doctors and stuff really who till the soil and very really into nature and just love being on a farm and just getting your hands dirty. So being around you, one would not even know you're a doctor and a surgeon and a specialist, and that is what beautiful about it. So that's why I wanted to get you on the show, people to see you can't put a label on a person because of their profession, anything like that. So why it is important for people to eat healthy, and also there's also a myth about carambola and what and that it culture nature and sitch and lime and all them things like that. I mean, how the I know I can't say how these myths come about, but is those things are true?
So I think I am by nature a fruit addict. And I could eat fruits all day. As a matter of fact, I would travel up and down the world just for the purpose of getting fruits. Um, One of the things I recognize though is having a freshly made or freshly juiced orange juice or any type of juice is far better than anything that we buy on the shelves. And when we look at
True.
that, obviously the people who put the things on the shelves, they have to add preservatives simply because without the preservatives, the thing would last for a very short time on the shelf. However, if you can get that product in its natural state without the preservative, you will come to recognize that it has a quite a different taste. And so
True.
I also tend to look at supply chain that many developing countries have to deal with. And one of the questions I always ask is if the ships or planes that bring most of our foods, which we actually import most of our foods, if those things should not come in for 3 months, how many of us would survive? And so it's important for us to start looking at the stuff that's readily available right in our market, right in our region, and utilizing those products for our daily sustenance. Don't got carambola because it's a fruit I really love. And since my sorry,
No, your internet is acting up a little bit, so sometimes
so
your
since
words
trying to
pause.
say oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to see. I
Yeah.
have strong signal where I am. I'm not too sure. But when I look at I went to the Needmus farm where they have carambola in abundance,
Yes.
and most of it seemed to just fall on the ground. And I just juice some of this because I really love it, and it even better than I had. But when you look around, there are so many other products that we have locally that the vast majority of it go to waste, yet we still import large quantities of everything to use. And so, is there an opportunity for us on the island, in the region, to be utilizing our own products to get a better taste, to get a healthier product, and eventually would benefit our supply chain issues that we may face, and may even be to our economic advantage to do so? To me, it's a win-win if we should be utilizing our own products.
Beautiful. Okay. I know you treat a lot of patients and stuff with different ailment, as you said, trauma and stuff like that. So, and then I know right now we are moving into the medical, supposed to move into the medical cannabis industry, but yet we don't really know any training have been done for doctors to administer these things. If anything, well, nothing have been put in place where you can get even a license to say to get an ID and thing like that, because even if office have been open up as yet. But you know patient that use cannabis. So what are your views when it comes to the use of cannabis when it comes to into the healthcare industry?
So cannabis has been researched widely for medicinal purposes, and there are many benefits that are out there. As a matter of fact, I sent you a document which showed there's something called the endocannabinoid system.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
endocannabinoid
Yes.
system is a natural thing within our body for which there are receptors to your CBD and your THC products. So the body actually has receptors to basically act on or to be acted upon by the CBD and THC products that are available. So there are definitely positive benefits. One of the areas that I treat quite a bit are patients with chronic pain. I must admit, because it is well regulated in the state where I live, I haven't had a license to prescribe, but I do direct to locations where they can get prescribed medications. On the island of St. Kitts right now, because it's not regulated as yet, I think anyone can actually prescribe it. But if we start looking at so many other things other than chronic pain, if you have to treat cancer patients, there are many cancer patients who have appetite related issues, and
Mm-hmm.
marijuana has definitely been shown to be beneficial in that regard. As a matter of fact, there is a medication that has been extracted by the name of Marinol that is used widely across developed countries for for treatment of to stimulate the appetite. There are issues like seizures, for which the THC products have been widely used, and a lot of research have been ongoing where that is concerned. Um, there are quite a few other areas of major research where the THC products are used. And so there is great benefit in the medical community. For me, what was a turning point in my view on it is a 26-year-old patient that I was treating, and in taking a history from her, I asked what medication she took. She told me she took marijuana. And I think she thought I was being judgmental of her. And I said, no, this is not a judgment zone. This is just me gathering information. And
Mm-hmm.
she related to me that she did have a severe issue of anxiety. And she was taking up to 6 medications to treat her anxiety. But the issue with those 6 is that it would her almost in a zombie, that she was unable to function like a normal. And what she did over time was to stop all of those medications and is now treating her anxiety with a THC product only. However, she can now function as a normal mother, a normal wife, and she's able to go out and work. So from her standpoint, that was very beneficial. And when I look at it, even though marijuana does have negative side effects, just like every other medication that you're going to encounter, would it be best to have a side effect of one medication versus a side effect of 6 medications? And would it be better to have a functional life taking one medication or not have a functional life taking 6 medications? So I think that played a significant role in my current disposition where the use of marijuana is concerned.
Very good. Yahsonn, any question for Mark?
at this
Yes,
point,
son.
not necessarily. Yes, at this point, not necessarily a question, but as I listen to his discussion or his presentation, I I tend to went back to one of Chronic's songs in my thinking, where Chronics speak to the whole tree, looking at the whole tree versus the separation of the compounds in the sense of focusing on the THC product and the CBD products. But I understand his presentation is also from the medicinal side, right? Um, but that is something that jumped out at me as he made that presentation, especially based on the fact that here on St. Kitts and Nevis, even as we move forward with the cannabis industry, the medical side is a side that is actually being taken into consideration. And that argument that is presented from the other side, where the claim is, hey, I mean, okay, you're claiming that this thing has medicinal purposes and uses, and well, initially you criminalize it with the argument that it does not have medicinal use and purpose. But now you're making the argument that, okay, we will let you decriminalize it if it does actually have medicinal uses. Um, I love also the fact that he highlighted the aspect of the endocannabinoid system and the fact that every human, and I think there's the argument for every animals as well, have an endocannabinoid system. And he spoke to the fact that the cannabinoids in cannabis is very much compatible with the endocannabinoid system that is natural in every human being. So it also means that when cannabis is used, and that is why part of the argument from the holistic approach of using cannabis versus the separation in terms of just extracting the compounds, like is done in the pharmaceutical industry as well. It is said that the effects of cannabis in its wholesome use on the endocannabinoid system is that it functions sort of like a multifaceted tool, in the sense that it could be used to address a specific issue, while at the same time, because it has those natural receptors, it may also even seek to address issues that may not have even showed up in a test or whatever it is, but it actually seeks to fix it as well. So like a Swiss knife effect, so to speak. So we have a tool that can be used to fix a lot of different things when it enters the system. So those two things jumped out at me in his presentation, in terms of being able to highlight that so that people can understand that really and truly there was and is nothing wrong with cannabis. And as a matter of fact, it is actually one of the best things that you can use, because you have a system that is naturally designed to accept the compounds and elements that are in cannabis. So that is my two little things. I leave the other one because of the fact that in terms of expressing that, because he's not necessarily here for that part. He's here to present in terms of the medicinal side. But yeah, so those are the two things that I'll look at or address at this point.
All right,
So if I
beautiful.
were to interject there,
Yes, go ahead.
if I were to interject there, I think one of the points that you made in talking to many patients who would use the extracted products, many people will.
You're frozen. So if you said anything from many people will, after anything you said after many people will,
Yeah.
we didn't hear. So continue from there. Many people will.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we're
Can you
hearing
hear
you
me
now.
now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So many people will indicate, and there are many studies that have indicated that the use of the
Yes, you're having some internet challenges on your side. So again, we only hear from many people will, and we're still not hearing him.
the
Again, you're having some internet issues because we would have only heard from many people will, and from there we haven't heard anything else up until now. But we're hearing you now, I think.
yeah, that's strange because I'm having like a full signal where I am located, so I'm not too sure why. But
Well,
like I
maybe
said,
maybe we have some yeah.
so like I said,
Sometimes it
the
happen, you know.
using the
Go ahead,
CBD
Mark. Yeah.
products, using the CBD products without THC or adding THC to the CBD products have been shown to be more beneficial than just the CBD by itself. So your argument in terms of using the plant in its natural format, there may be some medical merit to that.
Okay,
All
so
right,
Mark,
yeah.
so how yes, go ahead if you're gonna say something.
Oh no, I just wanted to add that it was good to hear that from a professional standpoint to get that, credence in that argument that has been presented. Especially, like I said, it ran me back to the Chronic song, but that is something that Rastafari have been arguing over the years. That free up the plant. That the plant in itself, in its wholesome natural state, and again, it lends to the argument that you also presented on the food side, where you were highlighting the fact that the fruits and so on in its most natural state is the best way to deal with it. I do understand, though, from the medicinal argument that um, for maybe specific things that one may want to, zoom in on a specific strain, because even within the plant itself, it has different strains, and the different strains may have different effects. Like, indica gives a different effect versus the sativa and things like that. So you would still have to prescribe on the dose, kind of, information or education if you're more informed on the plant and so on. But then, like you speak to maybe somebody with anxiety, you might have to maybe look for a specific strain that is proven and tested. But then the thing is, because it has been treated in the way that it has been treated, because it was decriminalized, sorry, it was criminalized and prohibited over the years, it was also prohibited for research, a lot of research to be done. So it's only now that it's being decriminalized to some extent and freed up to some extent, a lot more research, and those kind of researches could be done to provide some of the conclusive evidence to the arguments that we would have been presenting over the years. It seems as if we have lost our guest. I hope he can still hear us. But
Maybe he paused the camera. Maybe he blocked out the cameraman.
ultimately,
Yeah.
No,
he's moving.
sorry. I just had to go and get something
Okay,
so
no
that my
problem.
phone doesn't. So I'm just walking to get that, and I'll go back to a position shortly.
Okay, so you
All
can,
right,
yeah.
no
So I
problem.
guess we can continue in the meantime and give him an opportunity to do what he has to do. Yeah, but Banky, that is, I just wanted to interject that aspect of it, and I'm glad that, like I said, that he would have given some credence to that, and some merits to that argument and that presentation. So,
Well, that is one of the
the
reasons
other
why I
side,
wanted him to wanted to bring on a doctor, a specialist who have that knowledge. Because usually we both of us will be here speaking about this for years and stuff like that, and at the same time bringing in the experts, and especially a doctor who people have trust in and stuff like that, and speaking from his perspective, the information will be received differently. But Mark, what I want to ask you is, what do you see the way forward when it comes to in healthcare in St. Kitts and Nevis, since the government is moving towards the medical law industry? You know you have friends who are doctor here and who are qualified when it comes to prescribing the medicine, the THC and CBD and the different compounds and stuff like that. So how do you see a future in medicine within St. Kitts and Nevis when it comes to treating patients, when it comes to cannabis for different ailments and stuff like that going forward? Once the industry is going the way it's supposed to be.
Well, I think think the discussion we're having right now is a part of that way forward. And the
Okay.
discussion has to be a wholesome discussion, which looks at it not as something that is bad and vilified, but at the same time, we can't necessarily see it as being all good without being having downsides. And so the discussion now has to be, yes, it's something that has medicinal benefits, and the demonization of it has never been justified. However, there is another side of the conversation which seems to suggest that its benefits are all positive and there are no negative side effects. So I think having a balanced discussion is a step forward. Now, we now have to recognize that um, we have to get a public to understand that there are benefits to using it. And even though I've never used marijuana products, if that time becomes available, if that time ever comes where I need to, I have zero objections to using it. Because if I can use a product that is readily available to treat something, and especially like I said with my patient, if I have to choose between taking 6 medications that essentially takes away my normal livelihood versus using something that's available, I would opt for that. So I do think we
Okay.
need to have a holistic discussion with the general public and with the politicians as a whole to say, hey, there are many positive benefits to this. There are effects. Do we have to put regulations in place? And I think it's also a grand opportunity in terms of an economic opportunity. I'll give you an example. I won't mention where the state is, but there's a state that legalized marijuana or decriminalized marijuana, and they started a both for recreational and medicinal use. They would usually have their two largest agricultural products, would bring in the most taxes for them. The year after marijuana was legalized, marijuana brought in more taxes than those two products combined. So when you
Wow.
look at the benefits, the economic benefits to the country, I think we are missing an opportunity by moving too slowly with it. And as I shared with Bankie, Barbados just opened up their medicinal, their first dispensary. And there are others within the Caribbean who are doing the same. So from a holistic standpoint, when it comes to marijuana, the opportunities are there. From a medicinal standpoint, we really need to have that wholesome discussion about its benefits. We really can't continue to demonize it. One of the things I would do sometimes, just as a little experiment, I would ask patients, do you use tobacco? And many of them would say, yeah, I smoke. I've been smoking for a long time. And I would ask, do you use marijuana? And there'd be some people who go, absolutely no way. And it's almost like in a judgmental way. But if you were
Yes.
to look at the negative side effects of those two, marijuana is the one with the least of the negative side effects. So we now have to get a society on board to be to um, see it not in the way that it has been demonized. And I can tell you, one of my own family members was being treated for cancer-related stuff, and I went to the dispensary and I was able to get them tinctures of marijuana to use, and that was beneficial to that person.
Beautiful. Mark, I know we are short on time. We probably have the next five minutes or less. But I want to squeeze in here within St. Kitts Nevis. We have a few dialysis patients, and we lose a few also in the past years when it comes to renal failure and getting treatment for the kidney and stuff like that, doing dialysis. How can we come closer where we can make our people when they have to on dialysis treatment be more functionable within our community and have a functionable life, get up to work and stuff like that? How can we move forward when it comes to making this part more comfortable for our citizens?
Well, that's a pretty good question, and I'm gonna tie in something you asked me earlier about the carambola. Before I answer your last question, so carambola has been given the some people say it cuts your nature, and I think that's just historic. I think there's anything that sour cuts your nature. That there's no justification to that, and so we must be aware of that. However, there's one class of patients who have to be very cautious about carambola are those patients who, in renal failure. There is a particular a toxin that most of us will deal with quite well. We will pass out this thing in our urine. However, patients on renal failure, they're unable to deal with it. So that's the only group of patients, only group of people on the island who we have to be cautious when it comes to something like carambola. Everyone else can enjoy the juice in the freshest way,
Uh,
like Bankie and I do.
which compound is that? That the carambola contain? Which compound is that? For those who are listening.
So one of them is caramboxin, and the other one is an oxalic acid. Those are the only two that are available. That
Okay.
the person with renal failure is unable to get rid of. But to answer
Okay.
your other question directly, um, so there are many patients who go for dialysis. And so I'm going to use the term renal replacement therapy because we're going to expand it a bit. So a lot of patients who go into kidney failure, um, we have way too much of that on the island. And a lot of it is related to poorly controlled high blood pressure, diabetes. And so I think the best thing we should be looking at is prevention. If you have high blood pressure, take the necessary steps to prevent it from going towards renal failure. If you have diabetes, manage it well. Um, there are some circumstances under which you and I will have no control over. Hence, there always going to be some people who are going to need dialysis. But the things that we could control, we should definitely try. Now, the options for hemodialysis, in which they would essentially exchange your blood and act, the machine would function as a kidney. There is, however, another option, and this option is called peritoneal dialysis. And peritoneal dialysis,
What?
we connect peritoneal dialysis.
Okay.
I will send a text with the information. So it's peritoneal
Yes.
dialysis, and what peritoneal dialysis is a catheter that sits in a tube that sits inside the abdomen, inside the tummy. It's not inside the intestines, but it's around the intestines, inside the tummy. And the benefit of this is that we can essentially put this in, connect you up to a machine while you're asleep at night, and it does that dialysis for you. The benefit for that is that, well, you have to use that on a nightly basis, and since you're doing it while you're sleeping, it shouldn't get in the way of your normal function at night. But one of the benefits of it is that you are now able to, during the day, go and do normal things. On the other hand, with hemodialysis, generally people go to a dialysis unit 3 times per week, stay there for about 4 hours. So if you have to travel to the dialysis unit, that obviously is taken into consideration. Some people who have significant, absolutely horrible the day after dialysis, so spend a day to recover from dialysis, only to go to dialysis the next day. On the island of St. Kitts right now, we do have the option of doing peritoneal dialysis. And especially when it looks to something like Nevis, where there are about 10 dialysis patients who have to travel outside of Nevis to have dialysis. These are people who can be having dialysis in their home And I am very certain that a percentage of those people, more than 7 out of 10, would probably be able to return to some amount of work. The benefit, obviously, is you have a functional individual who is earning their own money and is able to contribute to society rather than take away from society. Because if you're on dialysis
Yes.
and not able to work, you're more or less drawing down. That's somebody who's contributing to the tax base and as a whole is just doing better as an individual. So I would strongly promote the idea of peritoneal dialysis, and especially on the island of Nevis, where there isn't a hemodialysis center, you can give the option. Not everyone is going to qualify for it, but of the 10 patients, probably 7 to 8 will. And it means that those people no longer have to travel down to St. Kitts 3 times per week. And that comes with a loss of time, a loss of productivity, and lowered quality of life. And so I would strongly promote the idea of peritoneal dialysis. Bankie, thanks for raising it in this forum. But I do think it's about time that the governments on either side of the waters start looking at another option for treating dialysis patients.
Beautiful. Mark, I know we're pressed for time and you went a little bit over time, but greatly appreciate you. Can't thank you enough for coming on this platform and sharing your wealth of knowledge to our listening and viewing audience, because we have a lot of listening audience on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. So I can't thank you enough. I mean, hopefully we get a chance to do another show in the near future when you're available overseas, when you're next time you're back on the island. So anything you want to leave with us within your wrap up? Or Yahsonn, do anything you want to ask Mark before he do his final wrap up? Yahsonn, your mic pause.
Sorry about that. I was just saying I wanted to just thank him to, be open and come forward as a professional and speak to cannabis in
Yes.
such a positive light, and also being frank on the fact that there are also some possible negative aspects or attributes that may be deemed from a medical standpoint. It would have been nice to have more time with him, but I guess we will be able to bring him back at some other point to have a bit more discussion, because I think we need to have more, as he also mentioned, more frank discussions where this is concerned. But I really love that, and the fact that he mentioned in his final section in relation to the dialysis patients, it is a very vital issue, and he even spoke to the fact that there are several divisions at this point who is actually going through dealing with that process. And I'm hopeful that those who are in authority who would have listened to this program, and if they have not listened, I'm hoping that those who listen will seek to get this in front of their ears and eyes, and that they can take action in regards to the aspect of dialysis that we spoke in relation to folks being able to take it at home and also being able to actually still be functionable in society and work and so forth. And so it is critical for both, especially as you mentioned that the Nevisions at this point, because there's no facility at this point on Nevis, have to journey on the boat, whether it's twice or 3 times a week. And I believe you me, when I was on St. Kitts, that was one of the things that I had to deal with, as there were a couple of patients who from Nevis, as I did a Uber service then, that I actually used to have to literally take to the hospital in St. Kitts to deal with this, because most of the bus don't necessarily take you off route. It's the main road, and so it's really tough for them. And so that was one of the services that I also provided for many of our divisions who came over to deal with it. And so I was very intimate with what they have to go through, and the families have to go through in terms of making this possible and so on. And so anything to help the divisions who are going through this at this point, that suggestion in terms of being able to get that at home and so on. The governments really should look at, even whatever they can do to facilitate those people, whether it's duty-free concessions or whatever it is, even help to pay for it, to ensure that something like this could help and make them continue to contribute and be productive citizens in society. So thank you very much, and I look forward to having you back on the program again.
Well, thank you very much for
Beautiful.
having
Yes.
me. And Bankie, I promise you I will make myself available to be on your show again, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, so we could continue this
Appreciate
discussion.
that.
I think it's worthy of having because there's a lot for us to expand upon.
Thank you very much. And I know you're a busy person, and tell the madam hi for me. Greatly appreciate you taking some time out your busy schedule. Enough respect.
All right. Thanks, man. All right. Bye.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
bye.
and that was Mark Grant. I mean, greatly appreciate he coming on. I mean, giving his perspective when it comes to eating healthy, when it comes to renal failure and the cannabis industry. I mean, couldn't ask for a better person to come in and share his perspective. Job well done, and very proud of him coming on, and for both he and his wife. I want to big up Mary, his wife, for giving him the time to come on this show and give his perspective. So enough respect, and I know those who are listening are very well informed with the information coming from, because we don't really have specialists come on and speak. Usually here you and myself speaking along with other guests. When you have a specialist and one who's supporting this industry that is so taboo, I know the information is received much differently than coming from you and myself and others who will come and speak, because he's dealing with science. He's not coming and he's that kind of person who deal with, you got to show him the proof. He's not worried about he says, she said. No, this doctor is a different type of doctor. You got to be able to prove him and show the evidence, and that's what I love about Mark. So I'm very happy about that and stuff like that. What's your feedback, Yahsonn, on that?
Yeah, like I said, I'm very much impressed, and I love, the fact that he is, very much in tune with nature, and a lot of his findings and philosophies, so to speak, as I listen, align with a lot of the things that I, do believe in, and is convinced in myself. And so I am truthfully happy and look forward to our next conversation or reasoning on this platform with the doc,
Yes, sir.
Like I said though, no, I didn't know how much time we have either, and that is why I wanted him to just make his presentation and do what he had to do.
Of course.
But
yes.
we back to, as we look at this Bankie, the zooming in, and that's why I didn't want to stray the topic too much on that side,
Of course not.
because
Yes,
that was not what he really came for. But this is where we are. We are not hearing anything about that side, that St. Kitts and Nevis. I have to say St. Kitts and Nevis because I strongly believe, and no, I don't believe, and know that Sankofa represented St. Kitts and Nevis. He took the whole of St. Kitts and Nevis on his shoulders when he challenged the government of St. Kitts and Nevis to end up and having that victorious decision that placed the government in that position where they were forced to. So people have to understand fully that a lot of what is and was sought to be done in terms of the movements going forward with cannabis and cannabis decriminalization and seeking to put these regulations and all of these things that they have to adjust. This was done because the judge forced them to do these things. And it had to be done, I guess, within a timely manner. And if we are to follow how this case really went, I think it was almost on the 90th day. Akari had 90 days to make certain changes and whatever. And it was almost, if it wasn't the 90th day, would have maybe just a couple of days before the expiration of that time given by the judge, where they came and sought to do certain things. So as much as sometimes Sankofa don't like to take the credit, I stand and say I giving him the credit, right? For forcing the government, so to speak, to do this. And I am seeking to highlight this because it is the context that we should be looking at when we speak to the issue of cannabis, and specifically highlight the fact that what Sankofa's argument was about was for personal use and spiritual or religious use. Those were the two main areas that Sankofa case spoke to. Sankofa was not making any argument for medical cannabis. Sankofa was making an argument for using it. Well, let me not say he wasn't making an argument for medicinal use, because I would have been certain that maybe within his, no, not certain, I would presume that within his presentation he was spoken to the different ways that cannabis is used, and maybe in speaking to the tea farm and so on, that would have been a part of that presentation. But the two main points were for the personal and the spiritual use. Overall, after the government would have done their thing, the research, when they had the whatever it was, to research about cannabis, and then they found out that the people say that they are for medical, they are for religious, and they are also for personal use. The government now has opted to just zoom in on medicinal cannabis, and it is based on what the brother sought to highlight, where he spoke to the arguments where they can make a lot of money via the taxes and so on. That's why I said I didn't want to stray from that point, because he brought it up. But what I am saying, and St. Kitts and Nevis, the area that is more important to us as individuals, and even let me say Rastafari too, is spiritual, so to speak, or religious, and for personal use. But those two areas are placed under the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs. And that ministry is headed by the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley. I have never heard the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley speak to medicinal cannabis, and speak to cannabis at all. And he and his ministry is responsible for the 56 grams license, so to speak, and the 5-6 trees, or how much ever trees license, and also for, I think, if you're going to get a lounge or something like that. But we have never heard anything from that minister, and we don't know what's going on. So right now, and I think you would have tested that, Bankie, where you would have tried to get a license from that side or find out anything from that side, and there's nothing in place. They didn't even have a meeting up to that point, and this would have just been a couple of months ago. I don't know about the update right now. The other issue where we are seeing is on Nevis, there is no branch or no Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs. So what happened to the Nevisians in relation to that aspect? Would they have to go to St. Kitts? Or are they going to create an arm of the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs on Nevis that is going to address these issues? We don't know up at this point. We know is that there's a medical cannabis authority pushing the medical cannabis agenda, and that aspect is headed by the Minister of Agriculture, and they have a whole authority and so on. And at this point, they have begun doing some town hall meetings in Kitts. I know they said that they're supposed to do some on Nevis as well. I don't know if those have begun. But up to this point, though, on the Nevis side, we have not heard anything from the minister even the Minister of Agriculture. So we don't know about the ecclesiastic affairs side of things. So which means I am bringing this to the fore, Bankie, because this is what I am seeing. That the areas that have been fought for right now seemingly are totally being ignored. And I can't say past them because one, there's only a federal Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs, and that is not ready to do anything, even after all of these years, because I think it's since 2019 or thereabouts that they had to make these changes in terms of decriminalizing cannabis. So they had all of these years, and I don't want to hear the argument about this government and that, who government was in and all that. Look, government is continuous. That law was passed whenever. So it doesn't matter who didn't do it or who did do it. The fact is that here's where we are, and you have it in your hand, and you would have had it in your hand since you got in power in 2022. This is 2025. And you want to tell me that we're paying your taxpayers to deal with this because this is in your portfolio now, you know. This is something that is in your portfolio. And you opt in to ignore the people and disrespect the people and take their money and rob the people. Technically, that's what you are doing. Mr. Evelyn too, because it's in his portfolio to deal with it. And up to now, he hasn't said anything about it. And niggas just don't know what is going on. That is robbing the... You get him to do the job there. And the people ain't hearing nothing from you. And we can't even hear from the medicinal side in Nevis. We don't know in Nevis if there is an arm or a branch that represents the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs. So in terms of the 56 grams and the 5 trees and all, and Culturama again, let me bring in this because this fits into it. Culturama coming up again this year. This is the second year the music festival and syndicates would have opted to have a 420 friendly space. Well, we're hearing from the minister, Culturama, and he's the Minister of Culture as well. So why maybe shouldn't have a 420 friendly space? Will there be one? I mean, maybe I don't want to be judgmental. So let me ask, will there be one? Will there be any event or events that create that avenue or space? So that maybe even if you don't, so that you could carry even your 5 split, like in the music festival? I mean,
Yes, sir.
that's
In
the
20,
presentation I'm presenting, Bankie.
in 20, the last agricultural opening at this year, the one last year, which will be 2023, right? March. I used the opportunity to have an educational board when it comes to concerning the cannabis. So many people have not ever seen a cannabis plant, and I think it was important to take part, since we've been speaking about it over and over and over, and for the agriculture department to take a bold step forward if the government itself going to be moving toward this industry. And in order to do this, it means you have to have educational display with different techniques of growing and propagating techniques and stuff like that. Also, some of the products and the history of the plant. So I take that opportunity. I mean, it was a bold step, and since that was one of the biggest agriculture opening. I didn't take part last year because there was all kind of hiccup from the minister and the department and all kind of stuff. Now they want to tell the department that anybody who only can have 5 trees or 6 trees, and I wasn't even entertaining that crap because it's crap it is. You understand? Because right now the Constitution succeeds any law there is. That's the highest law of the land. So when you don't have other laws that are going to impose on my rights, which been happening from since over 30 plus years from the moment I decide to partake, go in my locks and being victimized in all kind of ways and so forth. So the system here owe me millions of dollars. Because in the money you could put on when you don't violate my rights and disrespect and lock me up and all this different stuff. And then here, you get a lock up. Everybody want to scan you and you're jail, but and you're this and that. So yeah, right. That minor matters. That stop nothing. You got to stand up for what you believe in, or you better die. It's rather to stand up for what you believe in, and otherwise you might as well just give up your life and transition, because you're not a man. You know what I'm saying? So the Minister of Agriculture, Eric Evelyn, base. He entered the boat, and Yahsonn, to enter the boat, the man step outside and a peep and And you want to always hear, he high like a kite. But I love the better when you have to laugh. Because, I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people come inside there, my brethren. And everything was wonderful. Even the pre-main said nearly stopping there for nearly an hour. And sniffing and smelling and having a good time. Even if you just a pretend, me not a problem, he come in. You understand? And for your photo apps, no matters that. At least he come in. But his deputy, what that he would know less than 2 seconds, madness that. And then I supposed to take that person serious, who can't even come around a plant that he's supposed to be speaking of and have his own personal issues and views upon it. Well, I'm calling for the removal of that minister, Eric Evelyn, and also his counterpart, Jeffrey Hanley in St. Kitts. These guys have to remove from these portfolios because they have no interest. And I'm not going to be continuing asking for these guys to be doing their work and to speak on cannabis and to set and put the policies in place where the office can be active. I'm not about that. I'm about accountability. I worked for the government for over a decade, used to, and I was always, and I hope accountable at all aspects and wherever they have put me to work. So I ain't making an excuse for nobody, whether it's the premier, whether it's my sister who is a nurse managing the center. They know the responsibility are. Your job is to serve the general public, and stop making things personal and petty. I've realized within our community, when you hear, I'm a party in power, so I could do what I want, but it could be done. Fine, so be it. But I can hold you responsible still. Say for your party in power, make your party look good then. You see? Say if your party in power, make your party look good. That is what I'm saying. Not make it look bad and do worse and don't care and collect a paycheck and ain't doing nothing. So I'm asking, so in these times here, the way forward is asking for the removal of ministers who not do the work. Okay? And that's how I'm deal with it right now. And that's what the people want. You see? I'm asking for the removal of Mr. Jeffrey Hanley, who in charge of the cannabis when it comes to recreational and spiritual and stuff like that, and Eric Evelyn. And while we at it, Yahsonn, I want to tap in because he seems like Mr. Eric Evelyn, he's one in charge of culture armor too. He's one in charge of agriculture. He got some serious portfolio which he can handle. Because August 1st, which is Emancipation Month, which deal with our ancestors and so forth and what we have been through and leading us out of what they were put into to work upon a lot of plantation and being scanned and hand chop off and foot chop off and tear apart and all these things. He in charge of culture, you know. He's the deputy premier, you know. Well, there's a selling project going on up at Hamilton. Well, how he not talk about that at the tourism department? I'm welcoming all who come on the island as the plane full come in, drive up Hamilton Estate, look at our sugar mill where we walk in. You see, in the Bantu language, which is Swahili, you know, there is a word that they call wazungu or wazunga. The word means foreigner or white man. When you see these people come to your country and start to pick up paper and talk about don't litter, they don't love the island more than me and you. Can I don't pick up paper too? Because where they come from, they not pick up paper, you know. When they come here, they don't pick up paper. All right. So you see what happened to the Hamilton Mill now? Our government, our loving government, the premier and the loving deputy, the one who is in charge of culture, the loving and the one who is in charge of tourism. You see? Cousins. The whole cabinet, Spencer Brand, child labor, legal advisor, and the whole crew, they all sit down and give away, along with the whole tourism department and authority, everybody in board, make sure everybody in board, all them apart. And the Conservation Society can support these things so they get paid. So they have to know how the hell they have a whole project go on. When the bad stream go on, is asking a conference here about the bar stream, how beautiful it look and thank this and thank Sylvester Mead. Well, I seen that Sylvester Mead up there one time by the Hamilton Mill and he in charge of all these things. I seen nobody from the tourism department come around at no time. I seen nobody from the cabinet that take a tour, the building done bill. You understand, parking, black me out. You understand? No. I'm calling upon the owners of the vanilla farm to give back up our natural resource because you cannot come here as a wazunga. Also, there's a next word in the Akan language we call a brony, which also means foreigner. But this one you mean, you also have, they have the soul of a 2-year-old. Because the same people in my virgin and sister, the agriculture department gave them 6 acres of our land up in Hamilton Mountain, where there are other farmers up there, which I me myself measure up these lands for these farmers and hand them over where they can get this land into their name as farmers where they're using this land. But no, I nana wazunga, I nana white man, so I not gonna nana name. But I was so now the same people, you see, they don't get 6 acres up in the mountain. No, they're not good enough. No, they take over the whole Hamilton estate. They just a take. There's a take, and a take, and a take. Same thing with the soul of a 2 years old, a brony. That never work. So I'm calling upon the vanilla owners, property, who now say they have vanilla gift shop and to drink wine and eat cheese and give tours of our ancestral grounds and speak about a living monument, you know, that is the Hamilton one and the one over in New River. And you're going to come here. From where you come from, Europe, wherever, you understand? Some of you born in Africa and where, but you are not the ancient one. You are just born there. You see how Trump is safe in a band in that? Same thing. And so we have to put things in place too. We have to protect these sacred grounds and stop because certain people get work and because they're wealthy, you are loving a little dollar and sell out your soul for these things. These people are going to teach you all history and you all children in school about how the European, which is them up on know, this is what money up on know, enslave your ancestors, and I tell you about that. Will that make any sense? That make any sense, my virgin? How you gonna come to me, go down by the Christina disaster monument by the Hamilton Museum again, and have our kind of ceremony again when you give away the Hamilton Mill? Huh? I mean, I listen to these people here, you know. Because right now, I ask for the removal of the whole cabinet. Because I think they have crossed the boundaries by giving away the sugar mill there. Nobody talk about that, the brethren. Only real entertainment. Me and your Yahsonn speaking about this. And I must big up my brethren owns. Big him up for going up there and do a recording and show these things because people have to rise up. My last youth is 5 years old in a virgin. I died 250,000 years ago. So I understand life. I understand I'm a God. I understand myself. I understand the power within me. So those who come forth and think they're going to just try my ancestral grounds because them and a few politicians or a few others, whatever, me not get involved in that. You're trampling on my ancestral ground and that is wrong. You need to give it up and our tourism department and the government take control of that and our people, you understand, use it. Your friends who in my that. I have a problem with that. There was no wild day. So you put on gate and lock in and you no. Because a protest going to start. That will happen. I also want upon the same minister again. He in charge of culture, you know, he go the mill, he a part of it. Now the minister, I see a bunch, somebody sent me a video with the minister cut a bunch of banana. He get 100,000 views. Wonderful. Beautiful, love that. But in the same time, Indian Castle had more than 3 acres of banana plant, virgin. The ministry spent $5,000 where I went to St. Kitts and get bananas from a farmer, special breed. You understand? Special breed for ripening because we have a high use of banana on the island. And the same manager, the chief extension officer, Mr. Steve Reed, my family, my virgin from Quadricoon. I mean, his father is one of my favorite Clepsonian, Flamingo. He's the golden child for the minister best friend. And he put him down there because he know who is to be the in charge. Same thing we go again, party politics. How we can hand over 40 acre estate that nobody say can work, nothing can go down the waste of time. He's the chief, you know, he the same and the worst to say, you know. And the minister put him in charge and he mash up everything within 30 days. Now this is a year and a half later. The minister in his community on the town hall with his premier and his other co-workers, speaking how wonderful the Indian Castle food orchard is and how much food coming out down there for the last two open day. Lying in his own community to his people, lying down his throat. He's so comfortable lying all the time. It's like you don't even know what to tell. It's just a lie for no reason. How can you lie when you know down there don't mash up? Because if you not go down there, I know you're not go down there the last time you've been down there was last year. Mango Festival, and I can pour $1 upon that. Can you know it on the since? Because the last time I see you are the best friend alive. which is the chief extension officer, you know. So how can you have the younger extension officers them watching this? You destroy whole 40 acres, plow up over 3 acres. A banana trees now plowed up with the plow with a hoe, you know, with the machine, bringing the tractor and run them over like you roll over a man. The same time we got drip lines in the field, you know, drip line, you know, and plow up the drip line them too, and then so you can buy them back. That don't happen 6 months ago, you know. Nothing planned since, pure grass are going to see you bringing a plop all the banana trees. You understand? You can't make up them things there, you know. You can't make up these things, yeah. And the premier gonna come and talk about accountability. Well, how we now have a minister accountable and a deputy and a cousin? You see all this family thing, yeah? So right now, me ask for the removal of the whole cabinet. So I want the premier to go down there and so much bunch of banana he can cut from Indian Castle. Because mega proof, me not cut bunches of banana okay, into marketing, coming with everything. I make pictures with them too. Make pictures with watermelon, pictures with squash, pictures, you understand? And the people them have them to carry the benefit and they eat and this and that. The church them benefit. Is you can go on and on and on. So you can't make so how the minister can come to me or the cabinet or anybody a part of this cabinet because me want to hear them speak, you know, or how my good friends, all my friends who are part of who support the party, the belly a ball, they don't feel good. So me want to see them support this initiative. You don't spend $1 million, you know, and then this is just phase 1, you know, the mashup, you know. No, we got phase 2. You don't clean a whole land, nearly cost $500,000 just for the first payment. And yet it don't go back up a bush. Where I don't add not me again, me understand me because I'm a part of the technical person. So me understand me because give them the information. Land and housing got over 200 $1 up the hide, Yahsonn. Me don't hide them for it to give the wire then to the people and them. Electrical solar fence, monkey kill people. And they got solar panel and solar fence up there just a sit down over a year and a half. For what? So how the minister say he love I so love agriculture. Oh yes. Okay. I mean, really? Really, man.
But
Minister need to give up his seat,
Bankie,
Yahsonn. Go ahead.
one of the things that you said that, right? But this is one of the things that I've been saying, and seemingly it is just what it is. A lot of these guys, when it comes to having fancy speeches, very good in terms of lip service where agriculture is concerned. But then when it comes to the action, when it comes to seeing the reflections in the budgets, when it comes to seeing the initiation of projects, and sometimes not even projects, but even just to reach out to make connections. I mean, we talk about the 25 by 25 agenda, and all was needed is a letter. And not even that to help out, you know, the farmers so that they can benefit from some of the things that are coming in federally that should benefit syndicates and navies and farmers and syndicates and navies. I mean, we talk about the Tabasco project, where, as you mentioned, navies was supposed to be a part of the trial run, and that again, we see seemingly is also a dismal failure. Bankie, there's a lot of things that I think it is time for our people as we address these issues and as we see these things. These are things that, like in your case, you're not speaking about things that you have to wonder about. You're speaking about things that you were totally a part of. And when people
Yes.
see these things, hear these things, it comes down to our people, my brother. And I'm just hoping that our people can begin to stop playing petty party politics and become and demonstrate the informed and intelligent Nivision folks that I am giving the benefit of the doubt that we are and we should be able to demonstrate. And I'm hoping that we do demonstrate that above the petty partisan politics that we are seeing played out and the allowance of these politicians to do so and successfully do so every 5 years. as we speak to that, I see a comment in here, and I think it had to do with the presentation you made earlier on Bankie, but I think you effectively responded to this comment without even having to um, say anything, because your last utterances spoke to what this person was about to say. So, Estelita Clark, Global Greetings. She was saying, Shabbos, you have to confront the government or the people in power who are simply giving them the land. And I guess she was talking about the Hamilton as he was speaking and so on. But I said you responded because
Yeah, man,
as you went on,
appreciate the comment.
right, and as you spoke to, but as you spoke to the issue with agriculture and the issue with culture and so on, you then alluded to the removal of these ministers. So you actually demonstrated that, you're actually really speaking to them directly. So I
Yeah,
just
because
wanted
yes,
to,
and you can't really. I mean, the ministers and them know what they have done, because you see, all of them have benefited off of Indian Castle. Indian Castle was their photo shoot studio where they comes and do the photo shoots and the photo apps and all these different stuff with professional cameras. Come in there when they do all these things, So me sit back and watch all these movies, Come and say, okay, all right. me say watch it. Of course, they take me up the host all on Saturday and Sunday. Me entertain this thing, cause me as in the area, me say what they do the thing, I'll the banana cheese and this and that and to all the sauce of cheese. So how you gonna mash up the thing, your son? So how you gonna, nobody could tell me can't talk about this, Because me in the beginning, I get the most bash from both sides. The NRP side that cost me. The CCM side wanna hug me up as a boy. So you understand? So it's love and hate. But me could take it, you know what I mean? Because me do the people work, because all the both sides, no, I'm just doing the people work. They're so Kool-Aid with the green and blue Kool-Aid. All I could say is not Nevis and themselves and doing a food bank for themselves. They can't see beyond the Kool-Aid. You see? Where the tongue turn blue and the tongue blue and green. They can't see is them themselves gonna want the same jelly. So when they may harvest and them eat and full the belly have the same things in them. I'm mad people that you see? So they ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing. They don't dare to come tell me nothing. Not because they benefited. The project work. What they gonna say? So I want people to continue to go down there. It's today I get visitors and they told me they've been at Indian Castle. And I said, wow, so how was it? He said, but don't they look like doo-doo? And you know the next word for doo-doo? Doo-doo. I said, well, tell the minister, and these are technical people, You understand? He said, boy, you can see all the trees that must suffocate for water, neglect, and just abandonment. And people work 7 days a week, 7 days a week, the minister paying people, paying people, but they can't talk about it. So therefore, the premier had a big conference today, nothing about Indian Castle, nothing about the Hamilton Mill, nothing about this thing. So it's like this project now do. So it is a ghost project. I say, well, the tourism is partnering with this. So in a partnering, I want the vanilla people to give back up our historical grounds. You can't come here and bullwinkle our politicians and them. No, that's not gonna work. Our people ain't idiot. These things are our national treasure. And I'm gonna keep saying again, when I see people come on here, I pick up paper and a fake smile. They love the island more than us. They might have a few dollars. I don't even know where they get the money. I don't know who company they're part of, who whatever organization you're part of. I don't know. That's not part of my business. You come to our island, you respect our island, you can see and want how the Ministry of Agriculture will give these people 6 acres of land. So you see all these failures, yes, son? You got farmers up in the mountain, can't get the mountain land, not even a square foot, which is 12 by 12 inches. But they won't give these people, you understand, thousands of acres, not 1 acre, 6. And then they give them a sugar mill. Goodness, yeah. well, who will be? So how the opposition and the others not talk about it? Those who in NRP who got the seats, Miss Stapleton, Miss Hodge, and all the rest not talk about the Hamilton Sugar Estate. Well, only me want to see this thing, yeah. and those who support me initiative, what's going on. So what the US Davis I do? What the US Sink it I do? Soon I Sink it, Sugar Estate going to be given away soon too. Because it's like all of them is cohort together. So then another this thing. Are they supporting it? So when emancipation come August 1st, well, that's where the others woke up themselves, yeah, son. Then a business issue. Up here walking up, you know. I doubt it's important. That is the reality. You see, it's serious. So we're culture now eat. So this is what I'm saying, yeah, son. We really have to hold people accountable. And right now, I'm asking for the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Eric Evelyn, and his manager, Mr. Steve Reed, to come out and the Premier and the whole cabinet and apologize to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis for the ruin and losses of thousands and thousands of fruit trees and citrus and avocados and bananas that have been destroyed willfully by the minister and me now bring in the peers, the assistant peers, the deputy director, the director, and nobody else in the department, because no manager don't let those people know. He only answered to the minister alone. So the protocol there. So therefore the minister and the cabinet, them is responsible for Indian Castle with no production coming out of down there. So the minister and the whole cabinet and the manager got to come back and apologize to Bijan Hanley for accusing the man where his information is wrong and the person probably lying and stuff like that. The man go down there and show them the same thing we're going on down there. So the man not tell no lie. The minister should be stepped down for living in a community that he so speak lovely of, and the same meeting was in his community, and he don't know what in the background that the whole 40 acres down there that he wants to fall apart. No come out, no bring out one produce, not even one herbs. Everybody know what herbs look like a garlic peg. You understand? A tomato tree. The easiest thing to grow, nothing come out of down there. You cannot make up the things in my brethren. So I personally don't want to hear nothing from the minister, coming at nothing can hold water. I know better. I don't want to hear nothing from the Premier speak about agriculture. Go cut 10 more bunch of banana out of a yard. That out of a yard. At least the Premier I try to do something. He plan something. You see? But what about Indian caste that the government that you are responsible for, that your government that have invested thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in? What about that project? You see? When you destroy over 3 acres of bananas, you cut one. But Indian caste would have been able to cut 50 or 20 and 30 and 40. But your deputy premier who puts somebody on them up everything. You see the difference? That's how we talk about food security and cutting one bunch of banana. One bunch of banana food security. Me go up on my farm and cut 10 bunch of plantain. Me not post that. You see? Me go cut banana out of my yard and coconut and something. Me not post that. That's not just food security for yourself. You can't cut a bunch of banana for the rest of the week then. So we talk about food consistency. You're cutting every day. And that's what Indian Castle was doing. So therefore, I want to hear the apology to Bian Hanley and apologize to the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for lying. And then you're going to step down because I'm a waste of time and I don't deserve this position. God, that's the whole cabinet me call for. And Jeffrey Hanley, and then also the minister of agriculture. Everybody may call to Harley, you know, if you not do the work and be responsible, me not got time to try to figure out you're not supposed to fail in my virgin. If me tell myself I'm a specialist in this field, me not supposed to plant a banana when the banana fall when me turn me back. The tree fall and start go yet. And me get perfect. Me not deal with failure. You understand? Me not say hiccup can happen here and there, but this consistency of failing and not doing the production is the other that I was reminded by the farmer PS, you know. Well, how when you was down there? Yeah, everything just go smooth. Everything just boom, 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 boom. Bam, 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 bam. Well, what happened now? And you have to do harder. You ask the wrong person. That's what want the premier and his whole cabinet. Carlin can speak on it, you know. Because they all benefited. They all can speak on it and a single any person. So I want everyone have a chance to speak. When Spencer got on his Let's Talk with Webo and his friends and stuff like that, and Naya, I wanted to speak on Indian Castle destruction and how it had been. Because your son, all from finance called me to ask to put my name on the budget, you know, when they have the budget. So me the showman, you know. So they go talk and made him and everything about, you know, more have just say, well, them pay, you know. I said, leave them alone. They're gonna be all right. They're gonna let them say a whammy. So they're gonna let them get a whammy. Let them speak on agriculture and Indian castle. You see, somebody just love them because speaking my name and calling my name and all this thing. Me not get an erection, you know, because me no love man. So they don't have to worry about the part there. Me not get an erection and the man call me name. So they go call me name 1,000 times every day. I don't care about them things there. Because me in a boys club thing. You see me? Me know about them things there. So call me name 24/7 and put my picture. I don't care. Who care about that? It don't faze me. All I want to do is plant food and make sure my people can, and make sure people in a better way and stop importing all this food within out of the into the country and invest in your people. The best resource is your people. Just start coming in front of the people are having town hall meeting and lying in front of the face. No, right now is accountability. Anytime they speak and they're lying, we're doing a video upon that. So right now, I want the minister to apologize, both he and Jeffrey Hanley, and the minister and the Premier of Nevis and the whole cabinet. And after the apologize, they all could step down. Because right now is all stepping down because if you want to destroy food security, nobody, I tongue me from, you know, and Mr. Reid is from Matchmans, you know, he and the minister neighbors, you know, all them from Gingerland, you know, and two Gingerland man mash up the whole thing in the whole community. You can't make up this. A tongue man come from tongue, develop something in a professional way. And the two Gingerland man who love Gingerland the most, who are best friend, tight, like I say, Siamese twins, they mash up their own thing in their own community that used to bring traffic and people from all over within that community. So I'm encouraging those who are coming in for the cultural season within this week, next week, and the following week to take a pass, drive up Hamilton, take pictures, share it, and ask questions, post it. What's going on with this thing? You'll see vanilla cafe and vanilla shop and all this crap. No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I want to see my tourism ministry and proper sign of name and heritage, whatever. Them I want to see inside of that. Not no Wazonga or no a brown, no white man, no white people, no colonizers. Come on here and take over with no meaning of that. Yes, son, damn me peace.
Yes, well, let me just add with this comment coming in. Let me read this follow-up comment here. It says, it is very disappointing to see us locals who are trying to get into agriculture consistently get shut down by being told there is no land available, but now only to hear foreigners are getting access. I've tried twice in 2 years. So this is somebody.
Yes, son, land always there. Yes, son. Yes, son. Land always there by the folio. Land always there. Always there. Okay? Land always there. Well, how they get land up there so? Me tell the people that farm up in the mountain, you know. Up for years, me measure up the land them, you know. Pull the measurement, carry them in the office, you know. Write up everything. Nothing up to now. And in no time, there was Zunga. Or the Brony. We speaking Bantu and Akan language right now, eh? So I can Google them up. So yeah, African history will come up. So we're speaking Swahili and the Bantu and the Akan right now. All right, Akan is in Ghana, where they say those are foreigner. They have the soul of which mean the colonizers are those who think is wealthy. Well, we're wealthy too. We land rich. We all are we rich. So how you think you come here like you richer than us to take we land? Have a walk. You know what I'm saying? So I asked for the whole movement of the cabinet. So when Tuesday, next week Tuesday and tomorrow Wednesday come, the Premier touch an Indian castle. I hope somebody asked me about Indian castle. I hope and nobody asked me about Indian castle in the press conference. So even the reporters, they're not about Indian castle. You see? They're not about Indian castle. They're not about the hospital. But then ask about Indian castle. So this doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense, my virgin. Because that is where you can't escape. You see? You can't escape that food when you want to speak about food security. And that was your model throughout the Caribbean for your 2025 agenda. That was your model, you know. Your model. Okay. And you mash it up. So we must listen to you. Virgin, me nobody come talk to me when it comes to the minister, the chief, and them there, and the premier about anything about agriculture, anything forward. And about our heritage and our ancestors and all these things. As the person said, Indian castle look like her? Pure doodoo. Pure doodoo. How can the names for Indian castle now? That's what I call it Bankie Farm. Do not call it Bankie Farm, because now I say Bankie Farm look like a doodoo with my name behind that. So So I'm glad I had to post up
No,
before these things happen. Okay.
we have Aaron Atto Heiliger in here saying Bankie was shocked to see the state of the land. It has really deteriorated. And it's I mean, it's one thing to look at the deterioration, and it's another to look at a well organized project just, really just going. Because when you really look at the drone shots, they really tell a story. Even though it is in a
Of
deteriorated
course.
state, it tells a story
Yes.
that somebody carefully organized this property and had it set, and here is it. And it is sad, especially seeing that um that before I make this comment, I'm gonna go back to this Bankie. I did tell you in a Bankie, but I did thought he is hitting me as I'm entertaining this start. I did tell
Mm-hmm.
after these guys um get this green light from CARICOM where they said that they have shifted the goalpost from 2025 to 2030. We ain't gonna hear nothing about 2025 again enough. We ain't gonna hear nothing about trying to meet this
Mm-hmm.
2025 again enough. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing it play out right now. We ain't hearing nothing about no seeking to meet the 25 by 25 agenda. So the crisis is still there though, however. And these things that were touted as efforts at seeking to do this, how do you invest in that and just leave it? And how do our people, want to play petty party politics and don't want to call out and say, look, yo, you messed up, you're messing up. You know what I mean? Like, we need to refix this. We need to get this changed. Why? It's not. This is not a petty partisan politics. This is your life at stake. Life at
Yahsonn,
stake in
let me
so
say
many
this.
ways.
For my skill set, just let me, for my skill set, to go and fix and rehabilitate Indian Castle, to get back the coconut trees them in the state of lush and fruiting state. It will take me for the trees, the trees to take the nutrients and everything and to get back the coloration and nutrients and water. It's gonna take me at least 8, with my skill set, at least 7 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months. Let me say 6 to 8 months. That to show how bad it is. The trees upon the last breath. What we're surviving. I mean, speaking and with trees, then within that time I still have to fill back in thousands of trees that have died, and all the banana trees that plowed over 3 acres. Now I have to find other fruit trees to fill with. So you see what I mean? So you see so like I'm starting the project over now. So it will take me a longer time to do the project, get it back up into a standard. To do double the time, I do it in 4 months. So it take me double time to get it back to a standard. You see what I'm talking about? So if in it, there's somebody the way when it not happen, then we're gonna take. You see what I'm talking about? I'm just using my skill set and my knowledge and what I would have to do to get it back in
So
order.
hold on, Bankie. I hear what you're saying, and you're speaking from a professional standpoint, and not even just a professional standpoint. You're speaking from the standpoint of the person who would have set it up in the first instance, so you know what it took to get it set up.
Of course.
And you are speaking in terms of what it will take to get it back to where it was, and maybe even in a better looking condition. Okay. Now, the prior project, as you said, would have been 4 months to get it. When you set it up in
April after Easter and Easter and finish August 1st. The same time, Emancipation Day. That's where we planted the last tree.
Okay.
And those trees that we planted with some coconut tree, we dig up in Rollins Mountain, some large trees. That happened to the main project with planting the fruit trees and coconut. When we had to plant out those, we were given some coconut trees from what her name is? When Jessica Huggins them baby, they call her baby. I want to big up on that. The nurse, a retired nurse, she had give the minister, the department some coconut trees. She had a land, so we had get some excavator and go and dig them out, and we had planted those. Even them, they done dead. You understand? Yeah. So he's trying to show you.
So here's what I'm saying,
Remember, the whole
Bankie.
estate was automated, you know. The whole estate was automated, you know. Fully automated with timers, you know. Every plot.
And this is where I was
Okay.
going.
All right.
This is where I was going, Bankie. That you did it in about 4 months, and the entire project was about $1 million and maybe a little bit more than $1 million, right? So that's $1 million of our taxpayers, of our money, our taxpayers, the money that we would have worked hard and sweat for and give freely because we want to see the development of our country going to waste. And then we had a phase 2 that was supposed to be the follow-up of this one. The land was cleared, as you mentioned earlier, at an estimation of almost $500,000. And you said it takes you, it is going to take you 8 months. So it will double the time that it would have taken to do the phase 1 to get it back. Well, what are your thoughts now on the expenditure that it would take now to get that phase 2 even back to the state that it should be if they're going to move on it right away to deal with fencing it and putting it into cultivation?
Well, Yahsonn phase 2 was already everything in my head, you know. I'm planning now. Everything that in the this boy your head. You understand? Everything in my head, the irrigation setup, the lineup, the fencing, the design of everything is in my head. You see, there are a whole team, you know, with people with masters and farmer directors and the same chief extension officer, physical planning, environmental, and people in sync. A whole team, you know. And funding and all kind of stuff, it done got over 250 roll of wire. I make sure I put in place. So wire to fence the place, and wires also some could sell to the farmers by a cheap price, to give us a grant to help out backyard people or whoever it is. You understand? Then kind of meditation, because so many reason with the peers and how to go about assisting and helping. Because it's them resource. It's them things, my virgin. That home. Well, I guess me got me old lady heart, though the tasting heart, you know. Me guess me too soft more time. So me as a help. Me only could think that way we can be, it's just DNA. So to fence the place there, even you have to hire bringing people to, you understand, subcontract some of the work and stuff like that. To do that project, I already, along with Samuel Duggins, had called the Minister of Grenada to get 10,000 soursop trees in the car. Grenada's export soursop to the US. The year 14 has shipped out over 80,000 pounds of soursop, and they was wanted to buy back the same soursop from us. So it's like we're growing the soursop and they will gladly take it back. So you got a sure market right there. You can make it up. So the 5,000 were planted on that land. Huh?
And that project has not been followed up?
What am I tell you? You understand? Along with the next 10, bring the next 10,000 to 15,000 coconut trees, plant out that area, because the area about 40 to 60. It's a 60 acres where the measure it up. But fencing it in, maybe you had something behind the gutter or whatever, so maybe come a little smaller. So say it's the same size. You understand? 40 acres. But the idea was, the plan was to plant out the whole acreage with coconut trees and soursop trees, and then you can fit in some other, you know what I mean? Then we'll do intercropping to plant other stuff. Would they should have managed the other part? I work over here, employ people within the community from Rollins, from Gingerland, from Hanley's Road, and all this different stuff. And those who couldn't get job in the first project with the excavator at the back of the trucks, the second phase, or they bring in a second phase, people don't get work. You could push up your moat if you want. Who know you don't get work on the first phase, you can't get in. Next somebody else. That's how me one project. You could tell who me say one, you not come. Me on the project come one. Certain man get in the first phase, well then you said to come in. Papa not gonna work, well Papa come in. Governor gonna work, well Governor come in. Baxter not gonna work, well Baxter come in. Mills get work, well Mills can't come in. Passy get work, well Passy can't come in. You see me to show you. That's how it is. They can't grumble. You gotta share the resources through the taxpayers. And the land was in such a way, you could hire 4 different persons to fence the land, not the one man fence the land. One set fence from one here to here, you mark it out, and next fence come up and you meet up, and that's the boom. At the same time, when you have fence, you work inside the set up the irrigation system and backward dig the hole. So you have multiple things going at the same time. I saw me do things. You understand? I saw me do things. These are minor things for me to do. irrigation are going, this are do, some movements are going. So you have a whole machinery going on at the same time like you're building a whole town. When you're doing the, like a town are building, you know, trucks are coming, this and this, material drop off, hospitals are bring material, pipes to drop in, so we deal with things. And efficient. And everybody get paid. Nobody could say they don't get paid under my watch. Everybody could say buy me a sweetie or buy me a bottle of water. Everybody could say that. When function going on down on the next estate. So they can't do the next estate. So on the other side, would it take me, with putting everything, would say give and take, say 6 months. Once the resources is at hand and everything just flow. 6 months, project done. Simple as that. Yeah, cheese does and cheese just start going and just maintain and whatever and let the grass continue going and so and bring back everything into a land. Easy thing that and putting some cash crops in between. Well, so you understand. So if you harvest, well, the trees, the fruit trees, them are growing the kind of vibes. They can't do it. They could say it. They could say that one. It no matter to me. Them speaking say me can't have nothing to do with it. No, me do the work. Me got the best plumber and assistant. We bring culture. Culture I want water day. Desmond Bartlett. Bankie, okay, then no problem. Water dead. We bring in Roger Hanley. Roger, you have enough water to this? Yes, sir, we already bring in the water department with Floyd Williams and his team, with Kishan and the whole Indian Castle by the wells. The best well was the Webb's Wrong well. We don't get the schematics and the type of pump to order which is solo, to know run everything off of the pump and solo, which is efficient. How we deal with conservation and sustainability. You see what I mean? And then everything will be automated the same way. And for the water, the main water source, save that water, millions of gallons over the years, which we have used. You understand? And use the well water, which is more conducive with having more minerals, which is better for the plant and stuff like that. And a little salt. You understand? And that's it. So they can't talk like us about the project. They can't talk about the project. Only me could talk like us. None of them could talk like us. Not one. They're not about the project. Only me or the farmer peers can speak like this. You see? So they can't start. They have called me and said, Bankie, Lord, we don't know where to start. We can't do this without you. Miss Well tell the premier and his who he got as his best friend and his deputy. And this been over a year and a half now, Yahsonn. You see? Over a year and a half I've left the department. And the land have go back up a bush before me left the department. So this is over 2 years that land pull up a bush. 2 years now. Waste of resources.
And the cost of that kind of business has increased over that period of time. So which means it's gonna cost what, double to clean it again?
Well, the minister, Mr. Eric Evelyn, asked him when he said about the part. I want to hear how we got car. I am made to understand he was to go Indian Castle this Monday, 8 o'clock in the morning to take a walkthrough. Million of hour. Where you walk through for and where you going to cost. Because he should be home and lie down in the hospital in a mental breakdown of his failure for what he have done. He should be in a state of mental breakdown. Because who is responsible for that, you can't pass. No blame him.
Bankie, you chip out there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe somebody call you or something and the device or something internet gone on your side. But it's really saddening, you know, when we hear these kinds of things in relation to agriculture and the seriousness that we are in relation to food sovereignty. You know, it is not even so much just about, you know, the ability to plant food and St. Kitts and Nevis and sustain ourselves on that level. But we also have to look at what's going on globally as we even continue to import majority of the foods that we eat and not being totally informed with how those foods are being grown and what is being done to alter those foods to make it more convenient for the business of agriculture, where folks are more zoomed in on how soon and how fast they can get these produce to you and whatever it is that they need to do to make it more efficient for them to get it to you, whether it means adjusting the the genetics so that it can withstand various pesticides or herbicides, and or to ripen faster, and or to do a number of things that's being adjusted in terms of plant life and the fruits and veggies that you consume from the imports side of things. And these people are just concerned about profits because it's a business, how much they can make. I mean, even if they sprayed last week and the shipment is for next week, and they really should have waited for 2 weeks, man, by shipment coming your way. And you know what I mean? St. Kitts and Nevis, we got to be conscious of these things. There is the genetical modifying in the sense of we're just like with the animals. I know some of you would have seen it where they're taking cells and certain genes from animals, and they're putting them in the lab, and they're making leg quarters. And so in some cases, the meats that you're eating ain't really came from an animal. And you're going to be getting the same thing where fruits are concerned, where you're going to be getting fruits that didn't grow on a tree. They grow in a lab. And this is the seriousness of, you know, the food that you're eating. And if you are not paying attention to the foods that you're eating and not seeking to, as I said, not just food security, but to food sovereignty, if we're not really seriously thinking of a seed bank where all of the foods, you see all the mango in and so, save as much mango seed as you can, save as much guinea seed, save as much sugar apple seed, save as much soursop seeds, yeah? So that you could have the indigenous versions of these things to replant and maintain. The manciport, the dog apple, the custard apple, all the golden apple, the English plum, the locust thinking toe, all of these things, the Spanish ash or penny shash that we call it, all of these things we have to tamarind. See, now they have in tamarind, I mean, what do you say, tourism week, and tamarind is the major ingredient that they're utilizing. And Bankie, this brings me to another point, you know, as you know, I guess we're jumping on a number of things agriculturally this evening, even though it's the topics, but we are a number of agricultural things.
I just speak on topics. When I was at the department, I did many different things, you know. We had link up, the peers had a link up with health promotion, and along with the agriculture department, the ministry had a link up where they did a show when they speak on the different fruits and vegetables within that grown on the island, tamarind, cassava, sweet potato, myself, Ocean and Lack, Ocean big up herself. At the same time, the Michael Henville, where myself and the technical person will speak of the how to grow the fruit and stuff like that, and the type of soil which it grow best in, and how to control pests depending on the type of and stuff like that in a healthy way. And she will speak as a help promote benefits of these fruits and vegetables, and then Michael Henry will go and prepare a dish. So we have most of these fruits and vegetables there at help to promote. These things should be showing around. You have enough footage. Don't talk about it. Coverage of the on the farm and all of with the farmers, them and different people. I've done my part in a lot of different stuff. I never said no when they come to point me in different areas and challenges and at the schools and all this different stuff. You see what I mean? So the way forward is just accountability and having people who are going to get paid and who are going to do the work and get paid, because this we can't be keep wasting the taxpayers' money and not putting the resources where needed. And ain't no reason why no school is supposed to have a garden. None. Because they all have kitchen. No reason why they're in.
One of the things that I was alluding to as I began talking about the tamarind, right, is I was about to say that here is it that we are seeking to highlight this crop, and we can't even call it a crop technically in Nevis, because I think it's a Nevis, so to speak. There's no tamarind farm or no tamarind orchard or any sort. Tamarind right now is just a wild plant that is growing all over, and so even as we celebrate it and we're seeking to utilize it, no serious emphasis is being placed on seeking to maintain these things. Some of these trees are around for 60, 70, 80, maybe hundreds of years, right? And the seriousness of that and the significance of that, where you would think that maybe it's some great grandparent or great grandparent who would have planted that, and now we, even 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years after, is able to eat from that and use it to the point now that we're even celebrating it from a touristic standpoint. So it begs for us to do that. And I as I speak to Tamrin, I'm jumping straight into mango, where we have a similar situation, where we even have a mango festival. We have an actual mango festival on Nevis, but there is no mango orchard. There's no mango walk, so to speak. Well, there are actually mango walks that would be shoved up and so on in the hillsides and in the mountains and so on, right? But in terms of having an actual farmer or farmers who have a mango orchard that is operating and they're using the mangoes.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Okay, still breaking up? I'm still breaking up? Still breaking up?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying, in terms of mango, we look how much mangoes are wasting right now.
Yeah, I guess I was breaking. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, look in terms of mango, how much is being, look how much mango is wasted right now.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands of mangoes are wasting, thousands that could be just simply pulped. Even pulped and just stored. Nobody have a walk, but there's so many trees. That could be an inspiration in terms of food sovereignty. Empower the people. Hey, from the agriculture Ministry of Agriculture.
The agro-processing unit have a mango pulping, There's a big stainless steel mango pulping machine. The agriculture department by accident. Okay.
Oh, okay, Bankie, you're saying that it seems as if the issue is on your side in terms of the breaking up. So, yeah, but here's it, Bankie. Here is it, Bankie. The mango. This is culture, Rama. This is what I'm talking about. The Minister of Culture is the Minister of Agriculture. Here is Culture Rama coming, and this is why I'm saying the Agriculture Festival, the Agro Expo should be married into these kind of concepts. You have all these mango. People coming in who are going to come in for Culture Rama. Who ain't get, some of them might not be in the peak of the mango season because a lot of mango done gone. But this is a way that they could still sample the mango, because if you were taking some of the mango, yes, sir.
There's a machine at the agriculture department. There's a mango pulping machine at the agro-processing unit, where mangoes used to be pulped and stored in the freezers and even till they shipped out mangoes to Anguilla and stuff like that. They haven't been doing any pulping since the season have started. Mango festival, there was not even 1 pound of.
Yes, sorry about that, people. I don't know what's going on. I'm right here. Bankie. Watch here.
Satellite. Me can't see nothing.
Yeah, but me see you though. You're still on screen. So if you ain't seeing nothing,
okay, go ahead.
You're still on screen, so I'm still seeing you. But yeah, Bankie, here's what I'm saying. Mango ice cream, mango ice lolly, mango cake, mango smoothie, mango, all kind of things. With all these mangoes, so this is what I'm saying. I know you said the agriculture department have the mango pulping machine, but this is what I'm saying. This could have been a way. If you're talking about helping the economy, I'm giving a suggestion in terms of helping the economy. The Ministry of Agriculture could have said, hey, look, marketing for marketing side and the agro-processing side. Say to all people, bring in as many mangoes as you can. We'll pay you X amount of dollars for how much of a pound you bring in. So you set a fee, even if it's 50 cents a pound. And you say, look, bring in as many mangoes as you can. We're going to take them all from you. Let people go look some mango. Let people make some money for the Culturama. And then they could, as I say, get into, even if they need to add people for that time, hire extra people to do the processing for that time, knowing that you would have the products, because the demand is going to be there for Culturama. So all these people who ain't get real mango when they come in, still could be getting mango in mango juice, mango pulp, mango ice cream, mango whatever it is.
Under which minister? Under which minister?
I don't care about the minister. I'm talking about right now food sovereignty and looking at a way that we can use.
But they destroy 40 acres, your son. I just tell you they destroy 40 acres and mango drop on the ground and then I pick the mango on them. Me tell you what it is, you know. What's going on right now, you know? There's not one. Okay, let the minister come out and say how much pounds of mango pulp up in agro processing right now. Let come out and say so. Mango festival, let me say how much was given from the agro processing unit for the mango festival. 0. The freezer empty. All the freezer empty. You can't make it up. You cannot make up these things, okay? You cannot make it up. It cannot. Let me ask how much mango pulp was given to contribute to the agro mango festival and how much pulp you have now stored up and how long have this pulp have been there within that, because you can't go pulp over the weekend and say, well, up they got in 20 pound of pulp and the date of the pulp was this month, you know. You should be able to say they've been in freeze for at least 3 months because 2 months. They can't say so. They can't say so. I know up until the mango festival there was no pulp. There was no pulping done for months. All the mango they drop off the tree. Kids be same thing in the prospect. I mean, I ask you that, you know. I tell you. You can ask anyone up there. You can ask the director. You can ask them. Ask the minister too. So how me know and he don't know? They don't have a mango pulp. So what you they say? It need a whole new minister, brethren. You still act like this is going to happen under this minister, my friend. Not going to work under this cabinet. It not going to work. May tell you these things, the taxpayers seeing these things now. Anyone up there can go to Agriculture Monday and ask to go to agro processing and add a pound, 1 pound of pulp or half pound of pulp. You understand? You better go up on the tree and squeeze out the mango pulp, because that's what they had to do for the mango festival. Pick some mango and squeeze out the pulp, because that's how you get mango pulp. Virgin, I don't want to come here and speak this way about saying my people when it come to agriculture, because it's not a good thing. But when you have people within a system that don't care and have the love and passion and just want to mismanage things, I got to speak about it. I can't be quiet about it. You understand? We got to be hold yourself responsible, because it's food, it's our energy, it's our fuel. So how you want to have all the resources wasted when you have the machinery, you have the workers there. You just not, you have one worker, I want a machine and it's a train pulp, 2 workers, that's it. And you got a bucket to catch the pulp and you just back them out. You cannot make up this thing, my virgin. So then you want to tell me you talk all this thing like when you got the machine there, ask Augustine Merchant, and he get the machine funded. Me sure much you home a ball. I beg them to promote you on drips. Becoming the much no feel good, they build all part of my hot home. And they got walk-in freezers. Alexis Jeffers built walk-in freezers, extra walk-in freezers out there, so he will be ashamed to not even a half a mango pulp out there, so. And Mr. Evelyn will be at the mango festival. And the mic, you see, and the mic, you know, attack and a dance. And he can provide mango pulp to the same chef them who then speak so well of. You can't make up them things here. Yes, sir, go ahead here, cause these things make no sense. Go ahead.
So technically, right? Based on even just what you're just saying there, it's just a show then. It's just putting on a show.
I don't know what it is, but let her come forward and answer
To
why
make
these
it
things that they can speak. Me not assume for people in my
no,
virgin. I don't know what they
but you
do. They could speak for themselves because they're grown. They're grown. They might get paid. Well paid too. They might get paid. Remember they might get paid, you know. And they went to a good school. Remember that. They might get paid. You understand? They might get paid. Nobody I was not ever being professional or anybody ever called me for within the Federation of Sinkers and Nevis. And I go help them because that was my job to serve the public and well served. And I feel good serving them and I enjoy serving them and stuff like that. I have no issue with that. You see what I mean? So I held myself responsible and accountable, and therefore everybody else should do the same way. The people of Harlesville and Gingerland have to get rid of Eric, have to get rid of all those who are part of this cabinet. They all have failure, guys. It's in front of their face, you know. What I gonna have to do is to do a word on the street, go and ask about Indian Castle and how they feel about the project. And you ain't gonna hear one somebody could say anything good about it. Guarantee you're gonna win the bet.
okay,
Because it's
Bankie,
food. Nobody gonna lie about these things. Yes.
I want to shift a little bit from
No problem.
agriculture to something
Yes.
that I happened to hear earlier on today, because I hear you talk about the Premier's press conference. Didn't get a chance to listen to the Premier's press conference, but
Yes.
I did get a chance to listen to a bit of the Prime Minister's press conference,
Mm-hmm.
right? And one of the things jumped out at me. There was a question asked about the fair share. Um,
We have, we have 5 more minutes, eh? So we have be concise.
okay, no problem.
So we don't go
There was a question.
over time a little bit.
Okay, the question asked about fair share, and the Prime Minister responded by claiming that he would have sought independent guidance in relation to the fair share. And he also spoke to something that I've been saying all along, that there is a constitutional sharing arrangement that should be in place for St. Kitts and Nevis already. And so I always have said that that would have been one of the major things that would have been a part of the factor of addressing the fair share from a holistic point. The Prime Minister couldn't just simply address the fair share from just looking at the CBI, which is non-taxable, when the reality is there's supposed to be a taxable agreement, but the government of Nevis opted to stop sharing. One of the questions I have has to do with legal ramifications and implications of such, and if there is room from a legal standpoint for, say, the federal government or the Attorney General to challenge the NIA for breaching the Constitution, why it hasn't taken place, if there is any yardstick for that. Because from my layman understanding or overstanding, as we would say within Rastafari, the Constitution is the highest law of the land. And if you are telling me there's a constitutional sharing arrangement that should be taking place within St. Kitts and Nevis, and one side of the government up to just break that constitution and say, well, me not do that. This is what me do. Well, isn't there grounds for that? And if there's grounds for that, why is it not being exercised? That's something to think about as we're wrapping up. And well, I could get your response in that, and then I guess maybe I'll take a minute to wrap up in a bit. Your thoughts on that?
But Yahsonn, well, and the federal government allow them to say they're going to do their own thing, then they're going to do their own thing and whatever. So all them in the same boat. So them now break the law too. You can understand that. Eh? They'll break the law too, okay.
Okay, but one of the things that the Prime Minister highlighted too was that fair share was a part of the big argument for the federal government for the election the last time. And now the World Bank would have sent the report. He would have handed the report to the Premier of Nevis months ago. these are things that the Prime Minister saying today, you know, that he done get back a report. He has given the premier, and he's waiting for the premier. And he said, well, he actually said that they should be in the next 2 weeks.
Yes. So why the Prime Minister could not say, well, we have seen the documents, and from what we've seen, he can speak on it. Because he know
what he said.
They must virgin this. Yes, son. What me say, these people travel together, they on the same plane and not glass. They were talk about all kind of joke by.
You're breaking up, Bankie, but is the diplomacy of it? He has to be diplomatic to some extent, because there's certain courtesies that has to be given out, and certain, because remember Nevis has its own island government, and so there's still certain courtesies that has to be given. That's why he gave him the report.
Of course,
they look at it and they come back with it. So I guess that is just so. But all he's pointing out though is like technically I done to my part, and if anything,
yes,
I opted not to just appoint somebody to look at it and or me be a part of it, but I opted to get a whole independent body who's nobody gonna skin in the game to look at this holistically and I present it.
So next year, so let's say next year summer the premier won't talk about it. If you understand, if they're still there, I don't know anything what happened. I don't know. You understand? But let's say not right now, because it's a cultural times, and then Christmas will come up. So maybe after the New Year, when Carnival done in December, then I won't time for Valentine's gift. Some other time the next year, I won't Easter time. Where you talk about the fair share thing, because a lot going on right now. You know, the time ain't there right now for that. You understand? So they're kind of busy. And I know they're busy, you understand? The minister have the time, nobody have the time, everybody traveling different time, and family issues. So give them a chance, ain't that serious, you understand? So when they're ready, they're going to figure it out.
Okay. Yeah. I tell you, man, this light moment is a nice moment to wrap up.
No, this not like this. No, that's what it is. This is serious. That's what's gonna happen next year, summer, March.
Yeah. People, it's a pleasure really having you, and I must say, it's always a pleasure being here on the platform, Real Entertainment Network. We want to thank all of those who would have, subscribed to the YouTube platform. Go on over, like, share. We're gonna be pushing it there more often. In time to come, we might just actually, go from YouTube and then post the YouTube to Facebook, because we really want to get you on that platform over there, so that we can do a lot more from that side of things. So we want to thank everybody for being a part, all those who would have made their comments and be a part of the discussion. We didn't have any callers this evening, and I didn't remember to put out the number either. But I want to say thanks to all of you who make it your business to log in. You could have been doing anything else, but you're up to logging here on the Real Entertainment Network with us on a Tuesday evening, and we will be back with you on Friday at 7 p.m. for another edition of Everything Agriculture. Bankie, you wrap up, the music is in the background, so your final words at this edition of the Topiks.
All right, I just want to thank our guest, Dr. Mark Grant, for coming on and giving his views on the medical marijuana industry, along with renal failure and eating healthy and stuff like that, and putting that spin and weird when you think about myth when it comes to carambola and cut and lime and stuff like that, cut your nature and stuff like that. So very overall beautiful show. I want to thank him again and his family for giving the time out to be part of the show, and for all the listener viewing audience who keep supporting Real Entertainment Network, the Topiks and all the shows and everything agriculture. Greatly appreciated. I also want to big up those in the background, Paco, Reese, and everyone else. Greatly appreciate the guys. Tonight was some new different features coming out the hat and so forth, and I really enjoy that. I want to going on, so I'm back and forth. So yeah, man, I love the energy, and it just show you how the team is working. So big up yourself, and Yahsonn, looking forward for the discussion coming out. Remember this Friday we also have a next guest, Mr.
myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else choose you instead. I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. Got up in the morning, took a shot, that's the right.